What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The David Lopez Show, presented by Passion Park ENT. I am glad to be back talking to you guys for another episode. No housekeeping up top. We're going to get right into the episode.
David Lopez is the name. It's my show. Welcome to it.
Yeah. So we got a lot to talk about, mostly all sports, but we're going to start with some life stuff up top like we have done in the past when necessary. So yesterday the verdict came out that Breonna Taylor was not given justice, if I could put it that way. The three officers involved in her shooting were not charged. One of them was indicted on a whole separate charge. I mean, it's related to the case, but it's separate in the fact that he was charged with wanton endangerment, which is a specific charge that relates to him firing his weapon and the bullets going into another apartment, not hitting anybody, not striking anybody, but recklessly. I would say it's almost like a reckless use of your weapon, if you put it that way. So that was the charge that the one officer was charged with. Needless to say, this has caused a great deal of pain and hurt amongst the country, I would say. Not just amongst. I mean, I want to say specifically, to Breonna Taylor's family, loved ones, friends. They knew her before she was a hashtag or a story like we're going through now. So I'm sure the pain that they're going through is significant, and we want to say we're with you and thinking about you in that regard. And then this on a more grand scheme is just it's a big deal, but I mean, I think a lot of us can admit, I'll say that I was not in the least bit surprised by yesterday's announcement. I don't know if you guys were. It did seem, for this particular case, I think I had talked about it before. When you hear the details of it just seems so egregious and so obvious that the officers were out of hand, messed up, made a bad judgment call in. I mean, the actual shooting and whatnot is fucked up in both senses. I mean, first off, you're just shooting through a place, whatever. That's all fucked up. But the fact that they didn't do due diligence, knowing that they had already had the man they were looking for in custody. I mean, to me, that almost warrants a charge right there. What just because you're bad at your job, like, that's not an excuse, especially when you're a cop and you have a job that literally involves people's lives. You can't just be bad at your job. You can't just be bad. You can't just have like a lazy day where you forgot to do the work. Literally, somebody not making a phone call and saying, "Are we still looking for this guy?" caused Breonna Taylor's life. Like, that's not doing your job properly. Frankly, when you have a position of power and one of the most important jobs, there are a handful of jobs as important as policing probably, but not many. You have to be held to a higher standard. We have talked about that before. You can't be a pilot and have a bad day at work. It just doesn't work that way. And that's how I feel about policing. And so the fact that there's no justice, about it is disgusting. We don't hold our officials to a high enough standard, but like I said, we weren't that surprised. I'm saying we, but a lot of people I know were not that surprised by this. Frustrated, yes, of course. It happened again. Police are not being held accountable for their actions. And listen, this isn't me badgering on all police. I'm not saying that. I have friends and family that are police. We've talked about this before, but there's a difference between good policing and bad, and the system is clearly broken. The system is fucked up. So it is kind of against police in that regard, because I don't mean against police in the individual. We can talk about individuals, we can get individuals, but I'm talking about the fucking system. Because even the judicial system is made to uphold the policing system. It is so obvious that the way these laws are written, the way that everything about how officers get charged when something goes wrong in a job seems to be that the laws are phrased in a way that is much more lenient towards the officer. It just doesn't seem right, and it just never has been. I mean, she was sleeping and was murdered in her bed and is not being served justice, by any means, really. The people who, and look, this is how I feel about, losing a friend to gun violence. Actually, the couple friends that I have lost, one of them, the dude was caught, and the other one, the dude was not. And it feels better to have justice served 100%. It doesn't bring the person back. We know that. It won't bring Breonna Taylor back. We know that. But to have people held accountable for what they've done and the harm that they've caused to people is extremely important, and it's extremely important in the grieving process for people to have that. So to be constantly shown, and obviously I'm not black, I'm Hispanic, but so it's not the same, and I don't want to act like it is. I don't want to tell people that I know their experiences. I don't want to say that. I don't want you guys to think that I'm trying to say that. But when you're grieving and you're constantly having to grieve, because we're constantly seeing these things, and you're not ever being told that the people who are responsible for it were wrong, it's almost like you're being told that you're crazy for grieving. Like, what are you so sad about? There's nothing wrong happened. It was just an accident, wrong place, wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time, my fucking ass. If you're sleeping in your bed in the middle of the night, how could you possibly say wrong place, wrong time? And then people say, well, she had a history associating with this, the person the individual that they were looking for, the criminal that they were looking for. Kiss my fucking ass. Don't excuse it. I was going to say, excuse my French. Don't excuse it. That is exactly what I mean. Kiss my fucking ass. Are you saying that if you ever associated with a person that has a criminal history, person that has done anything wrong in your life, then you, therefore, might be caught in harm's way because of your association with this person in your life? Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind to have that logic? To have that logic in your head to say, well, you should have never known the dude. You should have never been around these drug dealers. Are you out of your fucking mind? People are so naive. People are so, they lack empathy. God, and then look, I have to get into this because I can't, there's protests were already going last night. There was 2 officers shot in Louisville. I'm not condoning that. Nobody is saying that's good that we have, non-violent or violent protests and looting and all that shit. Right. Okay, we get that. It's a nuanced conversation. Like I said, when this shit was really popping off, is like, look, sometimes people are hurting and they're trying to get heard. And of course there's going to be, bad, apples, they use the bad apple thing for cops. They've been saying that, but it's also like there's gonna be bad apples when it comes to the protesters too. There's gonna be some people who aren't there for the right intentions, who don't have the right things in mind. But you know what? Fuck all that shit. This shit needs to be heard. And if you're gonna have the current president of our fucking United States, I don't know why I said fucking. I just keep cursing today. That's how angry I am. But if we're gonna have our current president of the United States say in a press conference that he might not be willing to transfer power if he loses this election peacefully. And then, all right, so he said that. We haven't heard anything like this. It is mind-blowing, but not surprising once again, because we all kind of knew that he felt this way. I don't know if that's just rhetoric, but my point here is that it's very scary, and I'm kind of scared, and I'm pretty optimistic about this shit. I'm pretty, forward-thinking we're going to get through this shit, but the scary part is for him to be willing to say that, first of all, willing to say that there might not be a peaceful transfer of power. And then to have his followers who blindly follow him, then say back him up on that. And then also complain about non-peaceful protests and all these other things. It's so contradictory and it's so heated and so sides aren't listening to each other. Sides are just saying, to me, even if Trump doesn't believe what he just said about even if he loses, he'll still leave. To me, there's a point to why he would say that. Even if he loses, he's trying to say that his people will make a uproar loud enough that this won't be smooth. There will be something that happens here. And I think he knows that he's saying that. And he's basically telling his followers, we're not going to lose. We're not letting us lose this, which is frightening to hear. And I said this to my wife this morning. I don't know if I believe it or not, but for the first time, like I said, I'm usually pretty optimistic. I was kind of man, we could really be at an impasse for some sort of, I don't want to say a real civil war, but some real thing that could happen here that fucks with us. And I don't know. Look, all I want to say, I don't want to get too deep into politics. That to me doesn't even seem political. That to me just seems straight up like humanity and the integrity of our country. You're going to have we voted, we kind of really didn't. He didn't win the popular vote, but the dude who is our president is now talking about he's basically saying he doesn't believe in the office because he's saying, I'm going to do it how the fuck I want to do it. You guys want me to leave? I'm not going nowhere. I mean, so just to have that, and this is the spirit. I just know that people are looking at us in America like, what the fuck is going on over there? But really, I just want people to be empathetic and compassionate, and I just don't understand how you could be, even if you have a family member who's a cop, how you could not be empathetic towards the family of Breonna Taylor, a woman who who was murdered in her sleep by people who are supposed to protect her. Like, how you could not feel remorse about that, to me is sad. Like, I don't know how you could have that lack of empathy. And I don't want to exclude myself. I'm sure there's times where I'm not as empathetic as I should be. We all need to work on compassion and being nicer. Maybe not. I don't want to say we all. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, it should just be a nicer, like, you want a brighter, more loving community. And it just feels like we're really out of that right now. I just want to say I'm sorry to the family of Breonna Taylor. We as a country need to keep fighting for justice. We just need, like Jalen Rose said it great yesterday on the NBA Countdown. It was just like, of course he's speaking for, his there. I mean, it's 4 black people on the panel right there. And he's speaking to the black community. But he's also just speaking to us in general, and to everybody fighting this fight is, we likely won't see the change. This is how these things go. There's only we've had one black president. There's one NBA president who's black. One, when you read off all the like positions of power and the lack of color, you realize, we might not see this change. But if we make enough noise, we make a powerful enough movement, the next generation and the following generation keep pushing, and we will eventually see the change that we've all been hoping for, and there'll be hopefully just a more level playing field filled with love and compassion, and there'll always be issues. But we as a country, if we're trying to be the best, like, why wouldn't you want your whole squad to be the best? I guess that's kind of my shit. Like, if you want your team to be the best team, don't you want every player on your team to perform to the best of their capabilities? But if you're not giving them the resources or the same rules or the same anything to perform at that capability, like, how are you expecting us to excel? And that's just kind of how I always feel about about this whole situation. Like, why would you be okay with homeless people? Why would you be okay with starvation? Why would you be okay with people that aren't doing well? And then also be like, but we're the best country in the world. If we're the best country in the world, what is the old saying? It's like, you're only as good as your weakest link or some shit like that, right? You're only as strong as your weakest link. If that's the case, then we're weak. Then we are weak. Like, yeah. And we need to figure out how to bring everybody up. And so rest in peace to Breonna Taylor. Rest in peace to everybody who's been lost, all the lives that have been lost in 2020, but all the lives that have been lost due to I mean, we'll say police violence, but also just any social issues, any racially motivated violence. Just anybody who's been a victim to that stuff. We want to say, or I'm saying we, but I personally right now want to say I'm sorry, and that we need to keep working towards correcting what's going on right now. Oh man, I had to talk about that. Obviously, big situation, and I've said this in the past. When it comes to Black Lives Matter and this movement, like, I can't be quiet about this shit. And maybe I haven't always said enough. I want to keep, I also want to keep my fans engaged with, the regular content that I'm putting out and stuff like that. But like I said, I make rap music, hip hop music. That is a very black genre of music. It was originated from that. And so, like, to do that, to basketball is my favorite sport. I talk about basketball every single day. It consumes a huge part of my life. Sports in general, the NFL, we're going to talk about them. Just to consume black culture and I mean, look, we as a country love the culture. We love the athletes. We love it all. We watch it all. We consume it all, and then we treat it like this, and we treat it's disgusting. So what I'm trying to say is that I have to discuss these things. I have to talk about these things. I can't be so prideful about the things that I love and talk about these things that I love when it comes to hip hop and basketball and all these things, and just ignore the issues that are coming with it and the privilege that I have to be able to so freely talk about these things. And if I wanted to just ignore the topic and just keep going, I could, because of there would be no question about it probably. And to me, it's just not. I just have to speak up. It's just that simple. I was taught that way. I was brought up that way. And so if you're listening to the show and you're waiting for me to just get into the NBA right away or the NFL right away, and you're like, can he stop? Just fast forward a little bit, all right? I just got to talk about these things. So I'm wishing peace and love to everybody. We're gonna move over to some other things right here. All right. I had to switch it up with a little bright recap there. Okay, I'm going to get into today is going to be week 3 NFL picks, as I always do. There's going to be a couple of things just so you guys know right here. Right now I'm going to talk a little recap for some NBA stuff that happened this week since the last episode I had with KT, which was the night of the Anthony Davis buzzer beater. So there's still some things that have happened since then I want to discuss real quick, and then I'm going to get into my week 3 NFL picks, and then we're going to finish off with my bets. This is what I'm going to do every NFL episode every week when I do my picks. I'm going to tell you guys about some bets that I made last week, and I'm going to make one 5-team parlay for this upcoming weekend that next week we'll check back in and see how we did. All right, so let's get into some of this NBA stuff. And I just want to say I use this a lot. It's on my soundboard, and I'm going to use it again because if anybody thought that a talented but still a young white kid from Wisconsin who's a rookie was going to break records and have the second highest scoring conference finals game behind Magic Johnson, if anybody thought that, what would you say? I mean, I think if you're that kid, you might say,
anything's possible. Anything's possible.
And that kid was Tyler Herro. Holy shit. Holy hero, should I say. What a ball game in just a pivotal game 4 for both the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. Obviously, the Heat went into this game 4 up 2-1. And behind Tyler Herro's 37 points, they go up 3-1. The Celtics did cut it down the stretch. Look, every single publication about the NBA, every single ESPN, TNT, everybody's going to be talking about Tyler Herro today. The dude balled out. He's had an amazing year. I think he was second-team all-rookie. So he didn't even get first-team all-rookie, and he might be one of the better rookies we have in the league, just showing his confidence, and he was also in the right situation. I'll tell you what, the past couple of years in this dude's life, he has really the moves that he's made have worked out so well. He committed to go to Madison, to the University of Wisconsin, to the Badgers. He would have been the most talented and most athletic player that they had for a little bit, I would think. Backside of that commitment goes to Kentucky. Obviously the right move. Calipari produces NBA players like magic. This is what he does, all right? This is what he does. You think you're good enough, you have the talent to go to the NBA, come to Kentucky, I'm going to figure out a way to get you there. I'm going to put you in a system that teaches you how to play this NBA kind of basketball, which Herro already had that game that really is suited for the NBA's game currently. So he goes to Madison. He's backs out of Madison. Huge decision by himself. The state of Wisconsin was mad at him. A lot of these Badger fans are mad at him. But I'll tell you what, that dude's probably still in school if he's at Madison. He's probably playing in or going to his sophomore year. He's probably in the dorms trying not to get coronavirus right now, rather than the NBA bubble if he's there. Because of that, that's how big that move was for him. Going to Kentucky, having John Calipari, game changer for him. And he had a great year there. And then getting drafted by the Heat. He's a lottery pick, but a late lottery pick. And the Heat, who have a knack for developing young talent. They have one of the best coaches in the NBA with Eric Spoelstra. And they have this veteran core of Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic. These guys who have been around, Udonis Haslem, these guys who have been around who can really help mold a young, talented player. And Bam Adebayo as a rising superstar himself. So you already see somebody who is growing and budding into a superstar from kind of unexpected expectations. What the fuck? I don't know. You know what I mean? To see that happen. So I think those things really worked out well with him. But we watched him throughout the season. I remember, I think they were playing the Spurs in a regular season game. He hit like a big shot, and then they had a steal, and he just pulled up for 3 on the break and was just like swagging out, just yelling. And we were just like, man, this dude is good. He's not afraid. At one point in yesterday's game, when he's going on his run, he's really heating up. Jeff Van Gundy literally said, I love Jeff Van Gundy, by the way, just amazing on the game calls. He literally said the ball needs to touch Tyler Herro's hands every possession. Can you fathom that? The conference finals, the rookie off the bench is the guy who the ball needs to touch every play, because that's how he was running their offense. Like every play, every scoring play, like he seemed to be making the right decision on everything. He only missed a couple shots. But even when you can miss a shot and make the right decision. He was making, it just seemed like the right decisions on when to drive, when to kick, when to make the right pass. And then I'm listening to Tim Legler talk after, and I thought he put it well, not specifically about Herro, but about the Heat, which is that they almost always, and this is why they're really they're really hard to guard. They almost always make the right play. So that doesn't mean you're going to make the shot, doesn't mean you're going to score every play, doesn't mean you're highest octane offense, but very rarely do they miss the open guy that they're like, all right, that guy's open, he's going to get the shot this play. It doesn't always work out, but that's how it is. They almost always make the right play, the right basketball play, and then, if you don't have the same amount of talent as other teams, that's how you lose that way. But making the right play is huge. In the NBA, there's so many good NBA teams that are bailed out by such talent that they make the wrong play all the time, but the talent is so good that they can get over it. It happens all the time in the NBA. But the Heat are one of the really few teams that is just so, they're almost like a college team. They're so, the core is so tight. They make the right play. And that's what I felt about Herro yesterday. I just felt like he kept making the right play. Even when he made a crazy shot, step back, or whatever it was, it just felt like the right play at the time. And I just think that dude can be, like a lot of people are going to say, he can be really good. He can be he might be a future star in the NBA. Like, crazy to say, but he really might be. I was interested to see they did switch Jaylen Brown onto him. He had a little tougher time with Jaylen Brown on him. And that's actually what my thought was, well, first off, if you have a good enough squad that you have good wings and those other wings have to guard the other wings, then you're going to be good because you're guarded by a point guard. But I was like, I would like to see him go against Tatum or Brown guarding him. Because once you get, like, if he's ever going to have the keys to the ship for a team or the keys to the squad, have the keys to the offense, he's probably going to get a good guard or a good wing player to guard him. Like, for instance, when Derrick Rose won the MVP that year in the conference finals, LeBron James locked him up. And sometimes Bulls fans don't want to acknowledge that. And I love Derrick Rose as much as the next Chicagoan, but in those conference finals, they put LeBron on Derrick, and he was locked up. It was just hard, as it would be for anybody with LeBron guarding him, really. But so that, I think, would be the next step in the evolution of Herro. But that was the Celtics win that game if Herro has a 15-point normal night. And 15 points is still good for him, but he's been scoring he's in that range off the bench. He's a bucket getter off the bench. He said, I'm a walking bucket. I'm a bucket. Have you seen his girlfriend too? He's dating this IG model. I don't know her name or whatever, but this dude is swagging out like a boss. But I think if he has his regular 15 or 20-point game, they win that game. And this series is tied up 2-2 going into game 5. Because everybody else, not that they were held in check, but the Celtics stayed with, and they knew what to expect. It was the unexpected that came from Herro that really hurt them. And what did keep the Celtics in the game, though, because I think the Heat could have won this game by 10 or 15, was Jayson Tatum in a very interesting set of events. He was my main pick on FanDuel last night. I thought he was going to ball out. He had 0 points in the first half for the first time all season. Looked like he had diarrhea. I'm texting my brother all day. I'm like, did he not stretch before the game? Looks like he might really be sick. And I was like, I feel that. That might be legit because he wasn't moving right. His shots were, bricking terribly, hitting the glass. To me, it looked like you play a 9 a.m. game and you haven't stretched right and your legs are you're trying to, get yourself to be athletic, but your legs aren't there and you're, shooting. Your elbows are cracking when you're shooting. That's what it looked like. And he could have been sick. I'll tell you what, if you ever played and you have stomach issues, you got to go to the bathroom. You look more on athletic. So that was the one thing. But then in the second half, he balls out, has 28 in the second half, and brings them really, really back in the game. So the series is 3-1, but it's been a very entertaining series. I think they're pretty evenly matched teams. Everybody keeps saying the Celtics are better. They have more talent. They should figure out a way to win this game. But I think when I was talking to KT last week, I could have, like, the first thing I said was, like, I think the Heat are better. I'm watching them. They look like a better team to me. I don't know. The Celtics have and they have all these lottery picks and shit, so they should be figuring it out. But maybe they're another year away. The veteran presence of Jimmy Butler is bringing those young guys on the Heat together. I like the Heat. I like them, and I think they're going to win this series. They're up 3-1. I do not see the Celtics coming back 3-1. I do think the Celtics will win tomorrow night. Because tomorrow night would be game 5, and that'll make it a 3-2 series, and we'll go back. I mean, who knows? Maybe they can make it a series. Weird things happen in the bubble. Maybe this series will go 7, but I got the Heat winning 1 of these next 3 games, and so the Heat will end up going to the finals, I believe, and that sets up for something that I didn't think about: Pat Riley versus LeBron in the finals. This is if you guys remember when LeBron left the Heat, Pat Riley wasn't that happy. I think they still. I don't know if they get along. I have no idea. I mean, They won 2 rings together. Hopefully they get along. But that's gonna be a storyline. I'm just saying. Remember, if it goes to Heat Lakers finals, they're gonna talk about Pat Riley versus LeBron James. I didn't even think about it. It will be discussed. That's it. That's all I'm saying on that. And then to briefly talk about the Lakers Nuggets, like I said, AD hits that big shot, but then the Nuggets win Game 3. So now they're down 2-1. But I mean, they're a Mason Plumlee blown defensive assignment away from being up 2-1 in that series. Could you imagine Nuggets Heat finals? Shit. First off, obviously probably not what the NBA wants. It's not what people were hoping for. And people wanted Lakers Clippers right now for the conference finals. But I'll tell you what, I like the Nuggets and the Heat a lot. Both those teams, I just really enjoy watching them play basketball. You know what? Maybe part of it is too. I love the Lakers. I love LeBron, I love Anthony Davis. I think part of it might be that I feel like the Heat and the Nuggets, I think they complain less than some of the other teams. They complain. Like, I'm not trying to say, like, pretty much every NBA player looks at a ref and makes the what face after a play. And Goran Dragic does it all the time. So the Heat do complain. I'm not saying they don't. But I don't know. I feel like they might complain less. I don't know. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe because I think people like the Heat and the Nuggets. Like, they're a fun squad to watch. People are relating to them. So I don't know. Tonight is massive for this Nuggets series. Like I said, 2-1 Lakers. Jokic has been balling. Jamal Murray has been balling. And Michael Porter Jr. came through in Game 3. Really had a big game. So did Monte Morris, and that kept them in. I think that the Nuggets are going to win tonight. I think that series is going to be 2-2. I think I'm going Lakers in 7. Is that what I picked? I got to find my. Actually, I picked Lakers in 6, I believe. But I think I'm going to go Lakers in 7. I'm changing it to a little bit. I think, and I kind of want the Nuggets to win, even though I don't care about my picks. I just want to make these picks every week. But I think I want the Nuggets to win. So I'm hoping I got Nuggets tonight. Make it go 2-2, and then we got ourselves a series. So sounds like by this weekend. I haven't looked at the exact schedule. I have to look at when. So today is Thursday. Thursday tonight there is game. So it's Game 4. Yeah, it's Game 4, and then it would be Saturday for Game 5. Sounds like by this weekend, it's possible that we have the finals matchups. But by middle of next week, we should definitely have the finals matchups, and we should know what we're gonna be getting into and who's gonna be the NBA champion. We'll have at least we'll be down to two teams left. So I'm way in. I'm going to be watching tonight's game, but I'm going to watch that, and then after that, I'm going to watch Thursday Night Football. And with that being said, we're going to get into the NFL Week 3 picks. Let's go. All right, let's do these picks. So, like I said, I'm excited about this NBA game tonight. But, I mean, look, if we're going to compare things, we're going to compare the NBA Western Conference Finals. LeBron James, one of the best NBA players of all time, playing against an up-and-coming Nugget squad. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, just looking like studs. Compare that versus the Miami Dolphins and Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, what are we talking here? Clearly, Dolphins and Jaguars is the primetime game of the NFL season, right? Now, that being said, though, and I'm making fun of this matchup because it's a weird whatever. I guess if you're in Florida, you might like this matchup. But I'm still going to watch. I've been enjoying the NFL's comeback here, so I'm still going to watch it. So I'm just bullshitting. I mean, of course, I'm talking shit, but I'll be watching. So anyways, we're starting the night with Dolphins, Jaguars, and we got Jaguars minus 2.5 on the spread here. So I got to think. So the Jaguars got to win by 3, obviously. I immediately went into it without even looking at the spread. I asked my wife this morning. I'm like, "Who you got, Jags or Dolphins?" She's been really annoyed with me lately talking about sports betting now that I'm getting more into this. But anyways, my initial reaction was Jaguars. In Minshew, we trust. In the mustache, we trust. But then again, the other thing is that once in a while, Fitzmagic just pulls some shit out of his ass and just has like a 4-touchdown, 400-yard game. I don't think that's going to be here. I'm going Jaguars. God, I don't know. As soon as I made that click, I'm like in my head, I'm like, tonight's going to be the Thursday night game where Fitzpatrick comes back and has that night. Whatever. If it happens, I fucked up and you heard me talk about it. So at least you heard that. Before I get into the rest of the picks, I got to say, I always do this. I got to say how I did last week. Not good. I got 7 right last week, so I finished towards the bottom of the group. I think there's like 12 of us in the group, something like that. I finished towards the bottom. Did not do very well this week. That's all right. We're going to recover this week. And with that said, we're getting right into the Bears-Falcons, which is obviously my most cared about game this weekend. Bears 2-0. What a gross victory in week 2, should I say? I don't even know how to put that. They barely beat the awful Giants who unfortunately lost Saquon Barkley to an injury, torn ACL against the Bears. That was terrible. What a terrible week for injuries in the NFL. But the Bears, they scored 17 points the first half. I think they're going to win 35-0. Next thing you know, they win the game 17-13, barely squeak it out. When I get into my bets at the end of this, you're going to hear how they almost lost me a lot of money in my parlay situations. I took them to cover. Cover was 4.5 or 5.5. I think it was 5.5. They only won by 4. And they missed a field goal right before, so they would have covered. Whatever. Long story short, it was a frustrating game to watch. And Falcons are favored by 3.5 in this game. All right. My initial reaction was I don't feel confident about the Bears in this game. The Falcons' offense has been looking good. They scored, I think, 25 points week 1 against the Seahawks and lost. And then last week blew the most massive blown game since the Super Bowl when they blew the Super Bowl against the Patriots. They blew the game against the Cowboys last week. They're up by 20. The onside kick at the end where the guys don't know the rules. He makes a little kick. Nobody grabs it. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, I just feel like this is like, Falcons, like Dan Quinn's coaching for his job. Matt Ryan knows there's some pressure on. They got to get a win here. So I'm like, probably Falcons, but I got to be honest. Like Julio Jones, I think they just said is injured. That just came out yesterday. Don't know if he's playing, maybe questionable. I don't know. Something about me is feeling like, so we're talking about Dan Quinn blowing all these big leads, blowing these big situations for them. And part of me feels like he's going to blow this. This was actually going to be a week where I pick against the Bears on the spread because I don't feel great about it. But I don't like cheering against. I wouldn't cheer against it. Even if I picked the Bears against it, I wouldn't cheer against it. I'm always cheering for them. But maybe this is that freak year. Like the Bears are the worst 2-0 team. Everybody's saying it. They don't look good, but they figured out a way to get 2-0. But maybe this is one of those years. They're going to be like, they already have 2 lucky wins, essentially. They should have lost pretty much these first 2 games, and you already got 2 of those lucky wins. When you have one of those seasons, like when the Bears went 12-4 the other year, like you have to get a couple lucky wins. A couple breaks have to go your way. They've already had these breaks go their way so far. So I'm just thinking maybe this is that kind of year where the breaks tend to, the ball tends to get rolling, and they have a really good season, hopefully. The 2-0 start is nice. To have the Bears 2-0 and playing their 3rd game of the season on Sunday, to have the Cubs and Sox playing against each other in the last series of the whole entire season, and they're both already clinched playoff spots. This weekend in Chicago is a very good Chicago sports weekend. So shout out to the Shy, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going Bears. I'm going Bears on it. I'm a homer. I always pick the Bears pretty much. But like I said, I was really gonna pick the Falcons, and I just kind of this morning was like, man, I don't know. I feel like maybe the Bears will figure out a way to do some shit. They look terrible. There was this article that came out about how Mitch has looked the best that he's looked since a couple of years ago, and he's looking really good. And I think it was Sam Acho who wrote it. All I could think, Mitch has had sequences where he's looked better for sure. All I could think was, did he really watch the game, or did he just look at analytics and stats? Because to me, it feels like when you watch the game, you're still not seeing these big jumps. Like I don't know, man. But I'm hoping that he is getting significantly better. So we'll see. But anyways, you know me. Went Bears with it. Bears on that pick. All right. Moving on. Rams, Bills here. Bills favored by 2.5. They're in Buffalo. Both teams 2-0. So this is a pretty solid early season matchup here. Josh Allen's been playing amazing. Rams look good. Rams look like they're gonna be good again. I mean, the NFC West looks like it's gonna be real tough. That being said, Bills by 3. I gotta get Bills by 3 here, by 2.5, should I say? I'm going Rams. Going Rams on that pick. Actually, switching it. Buffalo Soldier. I switched to Buffalo, guys. I just did it. If I have a shitty week or if I lose by 1, you'll know that it might have been this switch here. So I did it. Buffalo it is. All right. Cincinnati, Philly. Philly. These teams, both 0-2. Philly has got to get a victory here. Carson Wentz is getting beat up in the media. He's been very inaccurate, throwing a couple interceptions. They got to beat the Bengals by 7. And, I like Joe Burrow a lot. He's been looking pretty solid, still 0-2. I think the Eagles are going to win this game and win it by 2 scores. I think Joe Burrow might have one of his rougher early season starts, even though he looks really good and I'm really poised and I like him. But I'm going Eagles in that one. All right, Washington versus the Browns. Washington football team versus the Cleveland Browns. Browns got to win this game by 7. 6.5 is the spread here. I don't like Washington. As far as I don't think Dwayne Haskins is that good, at least not yet. I've only seen him. I guess I've only seen him really 2 games, kind of. And I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see what they're seeing as a potential future, franchise quarterback. But maybe that's it. Cleveland look a little bit better in their week 2 performance. They got to win this game by 7, like I said, and I'm gonna go with the Browns. I think they're gonna string together a couple wins. I think the Browns might be decent. We always think they're overrated because last year they really were. I don't know. People thought they were gonna be amazing and then just weren't. But I think they'll string together a decent season this year, and that doesn't mean anything from this Washington game. They should beat Washington. So going with Washington. All right, Titans Vikings. Titans 2-0, Vikings 0-2. Vikings do not look good, and nor do I want them to be good. I want them to suck it up. So Tennessee's got to win this game by 3. Vikings are getting 2.5 here. Could the Vikings start off 0-3? Kirk Cousins it would be, I don't want to say the hot seat, but tough situation for them. I think they don't look that good. I'm going Titans. Titans will win that game by 3. I don't know how good the Titans are, but we got to remember they had a long run last year. They're still coming off some of that momentum, probably feeling like they're deserving of being a 2-0, 3-0 squad. And plus Derrick Henry's just a monster. Love that dude. So all right, Titans by 3. All right, Raiders, Patriots. Like this matchup. Patriots lost last week in an epic game, though. Cam Newton might be the story of the NFL so far. Bill Belichick is unlocking him. His arm looks great, though. He looks back. He looks healthy. As a Bears fan, I tweeted this. I can't say. It might be a bigger. I don't know what's a bigger. Look, you passed on Mahomes. You traded up to get Trubisky. Terrible. A lot of people said Watson was the more clean-branded pick. I thought he was too. You have to get him. He's obviously performed. So, curveball there. Still fucked up that pick. The Cam Newton signing this year, this offseason, he got signed for $1 million. It was nothing. We ended up trading to get Nick Foles and paying him a lot of money. Cam Newton was an MVP. I understand you couldn't see his doctors. You were worried about his health. I think what they were worried about is that you bring Cam in, he's probably going to start. Mitch is done. That's what they're more worried about. I don't want the guys who are running my team to be thinking like that. You need to be thinking how can I get the best guy? I was saying get Cam Newton before. I thought they should have, and now he looks like he might have an MVP caliber season. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not really. Maybe comeback player of the season is probably he's going to win that award. Comeback player of the season. That's my prediction. He's going to win comeback player of the year because I think the Patriots are going to win 9 or 10 games. 9 or 10 games, and he's going to have a good year. Maybe 11. I don't know. I think they're going to make the playoffs again. Touchdown Tommy's gone. They replace him with a former MVP. It's amazing that Bill Belichick is able to do this. The picture of him this week in his press conference to tie her, just the cutoff sweatshirt, looking like he doesn't give a shit. It's just amazing. Love that dude. All right, so with all of that said, Patriots got to beat the Raiders by 7 points. They're in New England. Raiders are 2-0. They look good. They came off a first home victory in Las Vegas. That stadium looks awesome. I want to go to a Bears game in Las Vegas in my future here. That would be awesome. Patriots got to win by 7. Oh man, this would be the third one I'm picking for the 7-pointer if I take the Patriots on this, but I'm tempted to go with the Raiders. No. Patriots are going to win that game by God. I don't like the 7-point. I'm doing it. I don't like that I have 3 7-pointers picked there. I just don't feel very confident about this. All right, Niners, Giants. Garoppolo's questionable. We don't know if he's playing. Just injuries all across the league. That really sucked. But the Giants are getting 4.5, so the Niners got to win this game by 5. Like I said, the Giants lost Saquon Barkley, their biggest offensive piece. Daniel Jones looks all right, I guess. They also didn't have Sterling Shepard against us and still were able to march the ball a little bit. I'm going to go with the Niners, win that game by 5. All right, Texans, Steelers. Pittsburgh's got to win this game by 4. Texans are getting 3.5. Texans got to get a W, man. They're 0-2. Steelers are 2-0. Steelers look like they're going to be really good this year, though. They're going to really make some noise, especially if Roethlisberger can stay healthy. I mean, this is the biggest thing for most teams in the NFL is can they stay healthy? I got Steelers by 4. I think the Texans are really going to hurt without Hopkins this year. I think they're not going to, to me, this is going to be, now we're going to discuss, look, no doubt Mahomes was the best quarterback in the draft of Trubisky, Mahomes, Watson. I could see the Texans having a tough year. Nobody thinks Bill O'Brien's a great coach anyways. I could see the Texans having a tough year. Deshaun Watson just being okay. The Bears having a good year. Trubisky being okay as well, because I don't think he's on the same level as Watson. But people are just going to look at stats, and then they're going to be like, you see, look, they're more comparative. It's coming back down. That's going to be the storyline at the end of the year. Watch. Or one of the storylines. Talking about, they're going to compare Watson and Trubisky and say, maybe there's some conversation here. But whatever. Just made that up right now. All right. Jets, Colts. This is a fatty spread. Colts got to beat the Jets by 11. 10.5 is the spread. The Jets look like they might be the worst team in the NFL so far. But 11 is a fat spread. Don't love that. Yeah, I do not love that. Jets. I'm already not loving my picks for this week. I just want you guys to know that. Not feeling that confident. And I still have to make a 5-team parlay from these picks. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll surprise myself here. All right, Chargers, Panthers. Chargers got to win by 8 against Carolina. Oh, McCaffrey's out. That's big time. Man, that seems fat to me for the Chargers being okay. I think Herbert's going to start again. The crazy story about Tyrod Taylor. If you don't know, he had a fractured ribs, so he was getting a pain injection from his doctor before the game, the Sunday game, and the doctor accidentally punctured his lung. That's frightening. And so now I don't know what the timetable is on his return, but Justin Herbert, the rookie, looks like he's probably going to get a couple more starts here. That being said, they got to win this game by 8, and I don't see that happening. I got Carolina in this one. All right, this is one of the better matchups of the weekend. Well, we got a couple good ones coming up here. Cowboys, Seahawks. Seattle's got to win by 5, 4.5. Dallas getting 4.5 here. Russell Wilson's already the odds-on favorite to be the MVP. He's having a great start to the season. Cowboys saved their season essentially with that win with that comeback victory against the Falcons. Just amazing. Dak looking decent. That being said, Seattle's getting this W. Dallas is going to fall to 1-2. I don't know. Some people pick them in the Super Bowl and stuff. I don't see it. Maybe I just don't like the Cowboys. That might be it. I just hate that people talk about them so much. I'm just like, I'm done. All right. Touchdown Tommy and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing Denver Broncos. I don't know what's going on with my voice here. Tampa Bay's got to win by 6. Broncos are getting 5.5. And Drew Lock is not playing the quarterback for the Broncos. I'm going Tampa Bay. They're going to figure it out. I think they're going to go on a streak here. And next thing you know, we're going to look up and Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are going to be like 6-1 or something like that. Haven't looked at their schedule, so maybe I made that up. I know they do play the Bears. We'll see. All right. Lions, Cardinals. Lions look shitty. Lions and Vikings both look bad, and the Packers look really good. So the NFC North is kind of don't know, and the Bears are just like the kind of guess factor right now. Nobody knows what they are. But Arizona's got to win this game, like I said, by 6. I'm going with they will. Kyler Murray potentially could be an MVP candidate by the end of the season. I think he's gonna put up some crazy numbers this year. DeAndre Hopkins' addition was just massive for them. All right. Packers, Saints. This is the Sunday night game. This is good for me because if you don't know, I live in Wisconsin. And so, like, when the Bears and the Packers play at the same time, it's kind of tough for me. I have to figure out how to watch the games. The NFL, this is a shout-out to you. You really have to – maybe not a shout-out. This is a request. Can you please figure out a way for people who are out of market to just buy the package for their team for that year? I mean, I've figured this out. The MLB has done this. I paid $50. I get to watch every Cubs game out of market. No issue at all. Not a big deal. I don't need to watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, but I was going to say the Tampa Bay Devil Rays for baseball. I don't need to watch those random games. I just want to watch the Bears game. But unfortunately, all they have is a Sunday ticket, which you got to pay $300 to get, and then you got to get every game. And so instead I got to figure out places where I can watch this. But last weekend was nice because the Bears were on CBS and the Packers were on Fox, so I was able to do it. Anyways, this weekend Packers are the night game, so I can freely watch the Bears game at home. So that's pretty nice. Packers Saints are getting Packers getting 3.5. Saints got to win this game by 4 at home. I don't love how Drew Brees has looked these first couple games against the Raiders in that Monday night game. The Raiders did their thing. Derek Carr looked significantly better than Drew Brees, in my opinion. I'm going Packers. I'm going Packers on that. And then finally, this is the game of the week. Might be the game of the season. Definitely the game of the season thus far. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens at home against Pat Mahomes and the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. What a fucking game, man! We are all excited for this one. They've been promoting this all week, and it's very exciting. Chiefs are getting 3.5, so it's weird to see the Super Bowl champs not favored. But when you know how good Baltimore has been during the regular season, it's hard not to favor them. And that being said, Chiefs struggled last week against the Chargers. I don't think that's too indicative of who the Chiefs are. I think the Chargers might be decent defense. They prepared for Tyler Taylor, not Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert played pretty well. But still, Ravens have a good defense. Ravens are going to be good. I'm going with the Ravens. I'm going with the Ravens. Although that 4-point spread worries me a little bit, but I think it could be a touchdown game. I'm going, what am I going to do? 38, Ravens 38, Chiefs 28? No, fuck that. 31. Let's make this an awesome Monday night duel. 38-31 Ravens I got. Is that too high scoring? It might be. Should I drop it? 34-28? 34-31, but then they're not going to cover. I'm going with 38-31. I got to go with my initial gut here, although I changed a couple other picks. I don't know, guys. We're going to go with these. That's what it is. I'm submitting the picks. Submitted them. What? I did it. All right. I'll be right back with my bets based on these and more. Okay. We are back after my week 3 picks that I very much was not that confident in. I explained that right there during the picks. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about these. So I hope that gives you some confidence going into this next betting section. So I'm going to try to do this every week for the NFL, as I do these picks against the spread. I'm going to detail the couple bets that I made this past week, and then this is what I'm going to do going forward every week is 1 5-team parlay every single week, and I'll just say it on the show here, depending on if I hit one of them and they make some money, it will be depending upon how much money I put on each parlay going forward. I can't say if I'm 0-14 going into game or going into week 15 or 16, wherever the hell we are. I don't know how many I've done. I can't say that I'll be putting $100 on this parlay. Maybe I'll be doing 5 at that point. But what I'm saying is I'm going to do a 5-team parlay every week, and then we can come back and see if there was any success to it. And with that being said, I did a 5-team parlay this weekend. I thought I was going to win $1,000, man. I really thought I had a chance. I'll explain it. I did Niners -7, got that. Ravens -7.5, got that. Did I do a 4-team? I'm missing somebody here because I did the Chiefs and then the Bears, and they both those teams did not cover, obviously. Wait, there was a 5th team on this parlay, but I'm going to see here. I had maybe not. There was a 5th team. I cannot think of it now, but I got 3 out of the 5 right for this 5-team parlay. It was Niners, Ravens, Chiefs, Bears, and the Bears. So the Bears missed this field goal to cover the spread, essentially. Cairo Santos missed the field goal, which also gave them a chance to lose the fucking game. So I didn't cover that, and I'm like, fuck, now it's over. And then the Chiefs were a later game. So I was in my head thinking, well, they're going to cover, and then we're going to have all four out of the 5 go right, and then the one be Santos on the Bears missing a fucking kick again to lose me some money. Thankfully for my sanity, the Chiefs did not cover. They had to win in overtime. So they did not cover, so that did save me because that bet was a plus 1392 on the odds. Could have made some money, I guess, is my whole point there. But it was a bad beat. Lost Lost on that one. So that one not so successful. I did a couple bets. I did a prop bet. I did Devontae Adams 7.5 catches over. Plus Brady under 24.5 completions. I got to be honest, I was watching an ESPN betting show. A lot of people, these were some of the props that were thrown out there, and then I combined them, and I thought, oh, this is decent. Did not get that because Devontae Adams got hurt. He only had 3 catches, so you don't want to see that either way. Obviously, you don't want to lose the bet, but I don't want him to get hurt. That's not cool. But Brady was under the 24.5 completions. He's a good bet for under on the completions, I guess, usually. That's what I've been gathering. And then I did Bears. I'll probably do a solo Bears this bet this weekend too, just for the fuck of it, because I like it. I did Bears plus minus 5.5 plus over 42.5. The final score was 17-13. It was a 30-point total. I mean, so I was way off, and they didn't win by 5.5. Terrible. And then I did an NBA bet that same day, which was Denver plus 7.5, which they got because they lost on that buzzer beater from Anthony Davis. But I also combined that with the over of 214.5, and they did not get that. So I had a very unsuccessful weekend betting-wise. As you all know, or I don't know if you all know, but, like I mentioned, I live in Wisconsin right now, but Illinois has legal sports gambling, so you know what I did on Sunday and what I'm going to probably continue to do moving forward? I don't think this is illegal, so maybe I don't think I'm just snitching on myself, calling myself out here. But I drove to Illinois, to the border, stopped somewhere, got some coffee, and then just in my car on my FanDuel Sportsbook app, make some bets. The 5-team parlay, by the way, was the free $50 bet from DraftKings. So I thought I was about to turn this free $50 into like $1,500. I was like, fuck yeah. And then that didn't come through. But anyways, so I drove to the border, had some coffee, made some bets, came back. And you can come back across the border and still claim your bets and your prizes. It's all via the FanDuel or Sportsbook or DraftKings Sportsbook app. There's other Sportsbook apps too, but those are the ones I'm using right now. So I did that. I think I'm going to do that every Sunday. I told my wife. She's not that happy, but we're going to make it happen. I'm going to make it a family thing. We got to go. Anyways, all right, I'm going to give you guys my 5-team parlay for this weekend. If you bet on it and get it, just let me know. That'd be awesome. If you bet on it and don't get it, don't let me know. I don't need to hear about your sad trials and tribulations. All right, I'm going Tampa -6. These also, by the way, go directly along with my my pigskin pick'em picks. I didn't want to contradict them, so I actually just made sure that I'm cheering for the same things both ways here. I don't know if that's the right move or not. I'm new to the sports gambling thing, so we'll see. Anyways, Tampa -6. I got Tampa Bay winning by a touchdown. Arizona -5.5. I got them winning pretty handedly. Niners -3.5. Different. Some of these odds are different, by the way, on the DraftKings site than the ESPN. Niners 3.5, though. That's actually lower. Seattle -5. So Seattle's got to win by 6, and the Patriots by 6.5. I am now realizing, though, as I'm looking at this, I'm asking all these teams to cover their spread here. So rather than taking a team on the under, but I think I'm going to do it. Well, these go along with my picks. Once again, I said I'm not super confident about these picks, but I think I'm going to make this bet. I don't know how much money I'm going to put on it, but anyways, that bet, Tampa -6, Arizona -5.5, Niners -3.5, Seattle -5, Pats -6.5, plus 2,679 on the odds. I think I'm going to play it. Long story short, you bet 20, you make 567 or 535 on that. So, numbers go exponentially up. Put $50 down, you're going to make $1,300, something like that. I'm probably not going to put $50 down. I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe $20. We'll see. Because like I said, I'm not that confident in this pick. But that's my parlay bet of the week. That's my 5-teamer. And with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. This was a fun talk, guys. I enjoy doing these every week. I really do. So, especially the NFL stuff, I like this. I like the sports betting stuff. I'm going to keep talking. Hopefully, you guys are getting something from this and you're enjoying this. And hopefully, you're doing okay during this very crazy and interesting year of 2020. I hope you are, finding some good things to do this weekend. I hope you can maybe watch some sports like myself and enjoy yourself, relax a little bit. And just enjoy. It's good weather over here, so I'm trying to get outside as much as I can. I'm gonna walk over to the beach right now. That's what I'm gonna do. I've been at the beach like the past 3 days. I'm gonna go again today. Soak up some sun and just chill with my thoughts a little bit. I gotta work on some rap music too. I gotta work on some hits. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make some fucking hits in this studio. All right, I gotta get the fuck out of here, guys. I love you guys. One love as always. Be easy. All right.